184 Front Avenue erosion and sediment control plan to construct a 10,000 square foot office and medical office building with associated parking and landscaping in the industrial plan development IPD zone under section 71, 85, 92 of the West Haven zoning regulations. Applicant owner APT Foundation, file ESCP 110.
Counselor.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, my name is Vincent Falcone. I practice law in this city at 334 Main Street. Let me just briefly review with you at the last meeting of May 26th, the applicant who I represent thoroughly presented its application for construction of the 10,000 square foot medical office building. Included the site plan, the coastal site, and the erosion and sediment control plan. You heard from, among others, at that time, Lynn Madden, President and CEO of APT, Steve Pistola, professional engineer, both are here this evening, John Foss, an environmental professional, Fred Greenberg, traffic engineer. You also heard comments from members of the public at that time who were generally objecting to the use. You also were presented with the statute governing site plan review and case law, including from the Supreme Court of the state of Connecticut, holding that site plan approval, which these are, all three are site plans, is mandatory where we meet local regulation. The matters you are determining are all administrative and by law require approval. The proposed use is as of right, as you know, in this large industrial zone. We meet all West Haven zoning regulations and requirements. Your planner has stated that on the record. Your city engineer recommends approval, and we are in agreement with his recommendations. Tonight, we await your decision, and we can answer any questions that you have as well.
And we have three notes added onto the plan, 33, 34, and 35. It says on-street parking is not, no on-street parking is proposed or permitted. That was one of them. Double-stack parking spaces for employee use will be permitted in the rear of the proposed parking lot. We have a note indicating that. And the last note is the applicant will provide an on-site parking attendant during the peak business hours. So we've amended our plan. I actually have copies of it.
Sir, would you do me a favor? If you would please, I don't know prior to this, but I would like to, since there's so many neighbors here, would you please briefly mention what you mentioned again with that pointing, that map pointing to the gallery so people can take a look? And sir, if you can just briefly explain what you explained to us, to the audience.
Okay, yeah. One of the main issues at the last meeting was parking. The town, we had done our own traffic study, and then the town had secured a consultant to do an independent traffic study. What that report indicated was that the on-site or the off-street, all the traffic leading into the facility and all that was fine. It didn't have any negative effect on the exterior, on the streets around it, and during the times that it would be operational. This was from, I'm paraphrasing the report. Then when it came to the internal circulation, they said that it would work, but there might be a concern during the peak hours that it got too congested. So some of the recommendations were to do what I said. Well, first of all, they wanted to make sure that this doesn't turn into like a free-for-all where people will be starting to park all over the street. So that's indicated as it's on the drawing now that that's no longer possible to be done. And then there's a possibility to double stack the cars where the employees would go. So if they pulled into a spot, they can be double stacked, and then they would have to pull themselves out, you know, in a different way. But they don't have to occupy as many spaces if they normally would have pulled into these spaces. So that would free up more spaces for the clients. And then in order to ensure that both those things would be happening, during the peak hours, there'll be an on-site parking attendant that would manage this internal circulation.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
You can move on with your, was that all?
That was it.
Okay, thank you. So you can move that,
Why don't you move that
maybe you can
back?
go to the side. Keep it so everyone can see it, then want to refer to it, but
Okay.
just out of the way. Okay, this is technically not a public hearing. It is the prerogative of the chair to allow the public to speak. We have allowed the public to speak in the past on this issue, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow speakers. However, if you have spoken already in the last 2 meetings that we've had regarding this issue, you're not going to be allowed to speak. Anyone who's new can speak. I do have a list that's been provided by our clerk, Janet Green, of people who spoke at the May 26th meeting as well as the April 14th meeting. So if you've already spoken, you won't be able to speak tonight. However, anyone else will be able to speak. So is there anyone who wishes to speak either in favor or against the application, or just give me your opinions?
My name is Madison Brewer. I live at 25 Allen Street Extension, so I'm one of, I think, the 3 houses that's going to share property, and I just want to express my utmost support and appreciation for this plan. As a resident of West Haven and also a public health individual, I know the need and I know how many people have substance abuse issues in West Haven, and I just think, I know I personally interned in multiple of the substance abuse clinics in New Haven. I've ridden the bus into West Haven and to New Haven from West Haven, and the amount of people who get off on Progress Avenue, the people who need these services, it's very, very prominent and it's very, very evident. And I completely support it being there. I live next to it, and I'm totally about it.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis.
Everyone, I live at 59 Clifton Street in West Haven on the corner, and I have 3 young kids.
Your name, ma'am?
John Christian. And I'm very much against it. Substance abuse is right there where 3 young kids are, and I'm very concerned about it. And I'm totally not for it. And I wish and hope it won't happen. That's my concern.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, would anyone else like to address the commission regarding the application? Now, considering the fact that a few, which I was planning on doing anyway, a few new pieces of information been presented, I am going to ask anyone, if you spoke or not, ask any questions regarding what was presented by the gentleman with the traffic study, and just specific to the traffic study. So anyone have any questions regarding the traffic study, what he just presented to you? Okay, thank you very much. All right, any further discussion or questions regarding anything from the panel?
The only thing that I would like to comment on is that double staffing. That's nonsense, because the spaces are, set up for 1 car.
Would you like to answer Commissioner Posey's
Yeah,
response?
well,
Commissioner Posey.
actually, the applicant, we don't really feel it's necessary. We feel that we can manage the site with all the employees parking within the designated spaces. However, since it was recommended that it's a possibility to help us increase those spaces, it could be used, and it could be beneficial to allow those cars to be consolidated and to free up some additional spaces. That would be, yeah, I'm sorry, it's employee, I'm sorry. Employee only. Employees only are to be double stacked.
If necessary.
If necessary. Right. So they would come first, they would be double stacked, and the rest of the lot would do it. It's not for the job.
Any further questions, Commissioner Posey?
No.
All right. One moment, Councilman Riccio. Sure. A couple questions I have. I know it's been said again, been said before, but it might have been said again on the record for anyone who may not remember this information. The number of employees are. And you just state your name and.
Certainly, I'm Liz Madden. I'm the CEO of the APT Foundation, and the direct answer to your question, Mr. Chairperson, the number of employees we anticipate is 22.
And it was mentioned peak hours. Your peak hours would be what?
The peak hours are between 5:30 and 8:30 a.m.
And the rest of the time from
We're open
8:30 till
8:30 until 1 o'clock for current patient care and medication dispensing, and then there'll be some other patient care services will be closed by 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Anyone have any questions for Mrs. Madden? Okay, that's all I have right now. Thank you very much. Discussion. Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, I'd just like to make this statement, and this is nothing, I just like to commend the job that app and their intentions of what they do over throughout the entire area. They've been very successful in some of their programs. But although an application may be in compliance with the majority of the zoning laws and stipulations, if you determine that there is a simple but vital area in which you as a commissioner find as a cause for denial, then you can decide in that fashion. Now, regarding the parking, I'm doing a simple math, and being in the business of medical transportation for almost 20 years, I can assure you, with 22 employees, with 67 parking spaces, which will leave 45 open spaces for the people that would be going to the facility. With the amount of people that they reported that were going to go there, I strongly feel that the parking is not going to be sufficient enough. And now that we've basically also stated that there will be no on-street parking, we're going to have a serious problem there. It's an obvious problem there. So, although they might have been sufficient in regarding most of the being compliant with most of the stipulations to the law, if you find that parking is going to make it a problem there, you could deny the application. And in my estimation, there's not enough parking spaces for that facility. And on that, I wish you consider that as the basis of denial. Thank you.
Any other comments? Councilman Judge, you want to respond to that?
When Ms. Madden, the CEO, said there were 22 employees, they have as little as 15 on site, so it's not always 22. Sometimes they would have 15, 16, or 18. That's number one. Number two, they're going to provide an attendant there who will manage the situation and park the employees in the rear to alleviate congestion. And as a condition, they would not permit any off-street parking because they have security there to prevent the same.
Now, I just have one other comment. I as a consultant, I've been working with the APT Foundation probably over 10 years on various projects. And Lynn does her due diligence before she purchases something. So she bought the property, she recognized how many spaces, and she knows in her business model that this site would work. So she knows how long it takes for the patient to come in, how long it takes for them to leave. So in her mind, she wouldn't invest her money in something that would not be functional. So I just want to point that out.
Thank you.
Just in response to that, Mr. Chairman, in the amount of people that they gave us, it's quite obvious that the amount of parking spaces that they have will not be sufficient enough. So that's just my opinion.
You have 2 traffic studies who disagree with Mr. Riccio.
So I don't do a traffic, it's parking. And I reviewed
Gentlemen,
traffic.
Hold on, I'm talking to the chairman. The traffic study, both on and off site. Okay? So it includes both parking and utilization of the surrounding streets.
Councilor. For the record, Attorney Amendola joined the panel at 6:34. And question for you: what would happen legally if the commission denied the application?
Saying what could happen.
Yes, what could happen legally?
Well,
application?
I'm not going to go to detail,
General.
other than you could expect some post-proceeding litigation on the matter.
And the likelihood, in your expert opinion, of the city of West Haven being successful in that litigation, in what?
I wouldn't comment on that because that would be an attorney-client privilege item. But there would be certainly a concern that you would have to entertain some post-proceeding litigation.
Thank you. Any questions from staff? Questions from commissioners? Mr. Riccio or Commissioner Riccio? Councilman Riccio? We've got 3 separate applications here. First one's regarding coastal management area, parking and landscaping.
Make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
Motion on the floor, is there a second? I'll second it. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion. All right, I would like to make a motion at this time to approve with conditions the following application numbers. File number CSP109, file number SR108, and file number ESCP110, with the following conditions for each application. Staff approval of parking plans, develop a parking manager plan, valet parking at peak times, no on-street parking, parking attendant during peak hours, adhere to engineering department guidelines, and in 1 year come back for review before the commission. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
The only thing on the 1 year thing is it's going to take them a while to.
Commissioner, you have to make a second before you continue the conversation. Was that a second?
No, it wasn't.
You have to make one of you has to say second.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you can discuss the issue.
Okay, the only thing about the 1 year thing is it's going to take them a while to put this building up. And 1 year from now, the whole thing's not going to be in place. So I would say 1 year from
From CO.
completion of the building.
Yeah, 1 year from CO.
1 year from CO. All right, I can agree to that. So I'll amend that to 1 year from the certificate of operations. Of occupancy. Since we're still in discussion, I will add this. I visited, and I've said this on the record already, but I'll say it again. I visited numerous times the Congress Avenue location and 1 visit to North Haven. I had a formal tour with 2 city councilmen, one from the 4th and one from the 5th, Brett Watt and Michael, and with Lynn Madden and her staff. And I also made a second visit, which Ms. Madden may not even be aware of. And the second visit I made was an unscheduled visit. It was at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I thought it was better to see things as in the middle of peak time. And this is on Congress Avenue. And out of the 2 locations, it seems from what I've heard from many of the neighbors in the public, is that the Congress Avenue site was the site of real concern. So I made the visit there at the absolute peak hour. What I observed there, and I was there for probably a good 20 minutes, I observed people going in and coming out, people parking, getting out of their car, getting off the bus, going about their business. This is right next to the John C. Daniels Elementary School. It goes preschool through 8th grade, so elementary, middle school, and other businesses. My time period there, I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. I saw people going about their business, doing what they had to do, and going about the rest of the day. As far as the security is concerned, I'm very impressed with the security that I've seen at the APT Foundation so far. At both locations that I visited, and I've been to the Long Wharf location, but only to take kids to the pediatrician. So I really haven't spent any time at that location as far as actually looking at it. But with the other two locations, I'm very confident in saying I'm very impressed with the security. I'm happy to say that while I was there at 7 o'clock in the morning, I got kicked off the property for the first time in my life. And it was awesome because it showed me that the security there was very vigilant on who belonged and who didn't belong. And I was impressed by that. So I'm confident that this organization will have the best interest for West Haven and the neighborhood in general. As has been stated already, the area is already zoned for this type of use. And I feel that it would be irresponsible of the commission to not adhere to our own regulations. We have had the opportunity to work as a community with this location, with this organization. Chairman Sullivan did not have to allow the public to speak. As a site plan review, it does not require any public comment. But we have a tradition the past, I can vouch for the past 4 years in this commission, of bringing the community in and letting them be a part of what is happening. So regardless if it's a site plan review or not, typically we let people who are going to live with it speak. And I think that's important. I think you've heard us out. I think you've heard the organization out, and the commission has come to its decision. I believe this is something that we can all work with together, and as stated in one of the conditions, from a year from the time of the certificate of occupancy, for the organization to come back for review. And I think that is fair on all sides. So that said, there's a motion on the floor and it has been seconded. All in favor for the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Staff reports.
Just view the applications in front of you. There's one for the next meeting for 120, 130 Fresh Meadow Road, and there's one for the meeting after in August.
Excuse me. Excuse me. The motion was given, there were conditions put on it, and it passed. Okay, unanimously, and the motions, the conditions were read into the record in public for everyone to see, for everyone to hear. Okay, we've gone on to the next subject matter, which is staff reports. Continue on, staff.